But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. Because everyone's mad.
There's a difference between belief and experience. For the most part, I think you can explain the odd encounter away. Not believing in ghosts or demons, not believing in anything supernatural. You can rationalize things, you can find the logic. You can say to yourself, there's always a reasonable, rational explanation. And honestly, I did. Until the night something happened to me that I could not explain. When you experience something directly, not secondhand, not in some story, not in a movie, but in your own home, and it involves your 4-year-old child, you are forced to face a hard truth. Either the world isn't what you think it is, and you're wrong. And sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't what you experienced that you cannot explain. It's realizing you have to reconsider everything you thought you knew. Now, this is a true story. It happened years ago in an old house where strange things have already happened, but nothing that ever involved my children until this night. My daughter was 4 years old. I had fallen asleep on the couch in the living room. The house was quiet, and the silence was broken by the sound of soft crying. It woke me, and I opened my eyes to see that my daughter was standing in front of me, and she was terrified. I asked her, of course, what's wrong. She sat on the love seat across from me and said,
Someone was in my room, whispering, like this.
And she leaned in and softly went, "Psst, psst, 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 psst." I told her she probably had a bad dream. She shook her head.
No, I felt it.
Then she said something I just can't imagine any 4-year-old saying.
But I don't want to kill my family.
And she was crying, and of course she was confused and she was afraid. She told me the voice had whispered in her ear to kill all of us. She didn't know what it was, only that it had been there. So of course, as a responsible parent, I tried to comfort her and myself as well. And I said, there's no such thing as ghosts. The moment that those words left my mouth, we heard footsteps, heavy footsteps, deliberate, coming down the hallway from the bedrooms. We both turned, expecting to see her father. The footsteps kept coming, closer, closer, and then stopped, right in the foyer, which was directly in front of us. But no one was there. The hallway was empty. My daughter narrowed her eyes at me and said,
What was that?
and all I could say was, I thought it was your father. But it wasn't, and we both knew it. Not long after that, something else strange happened. We had a dog, a German Shepherd, Umi. And she was standing in the foyer one day, and her hackles were raised, and she was growling this low, deep, and steady growl. She was staring down the hallway, the exact hallway where we had heard the footsteps. I looked. There was nothing there. I told her, Umi, it's okay. There's nothing there. But she didn't move. She kept staring, growling. Her body was tense, rigid. She was afraid. I had never seen her that disturbed before, and I haven't seen her like that since. Whatever she was reacting to, she could see it, and she was scared. Over the years, there were so many strange things that happened in this house. One night, the television turned on by itself and increased to full volume. The remote was sitting untouched on the table. I jumped up, turned it off, and then I said out loud, "That's it. I'm done. I'm going to bed." As I turned the corner toward the hallway, an old novelty button I had bought from Staples went off by itself, cheerfully saying,
That was easy.
I stopped cold. No one had touched it. No one was near it, but it responded. Another night, I had fallen asleep while working on my laptop. I woke up around 3 a.m. The lights were still on. My laptop had powered down. I tapped the keys to see if the desktop would come back up. And in the reflection of the laptop screen, I saw a tall, hooded figure behind me. Of course, I quickly turned around, but the room was empty. There was nothing there. I turned back to my laptop screen, and it was clear. Sometimes the cabinet doors in the kitchen would open on their own. We would walk in and every single cabinet would be wide open. Once, my husband and I were standing in the kitchen talking, and a pan lid lifted off the counter and rose into the air and slammed onto the floor, as if someone had thrown it. For years, my husband used to laugh about these encounters and say, "These things never happen when I'm around." Until they did. The thing that still haunts me most as I look back and we have moved from this house, whatever it was, it spoke to my child. It walked down the hallway when I denied it existed. And it frightened an animal that had no reason to pretend. So I don't know what was in that house. I don't know what whispered in my daughter's ear. And I don't know what my dog was staring at. But I do know this. Children don't invent voices like that. Dogs don't growl at empty air without reason. And houses don't answer you unless something is listening. And so I know I'll be grouped in with the people that are often thought to be crazy. I promise you this is a true story. And these things happen for years. There's so many, including positive identifications on ghost applications. I just don't know what it was. And it will always be in the back of my mind, making me wonder about this world and the things that we can't see.